Ave Maria. Ave Maria. Yeah.
It's the Golden Reach Show. That's Yes.
And that's Sasha.
And we are live-ish on idobi radio, as we always are, as we always will be. We are back together again. We were apart by a whole ocean for a little bit. I was in the jolly old UK, London, and you were here.
You were in merry old England, and I was in sunny, rainy Los Angeles.
Yeah, I actually had better weather than you. Like it was, I got sun all week. It did not rain at all, and yeah, it was really really cool. I had a really good time. I want to use my lighter. I got this really sweet lighter at Vivian Westwood that I've been wanting forever, and it's so cool. And it's a necklace. I forgot about the Vivian Westwood flagship, and you were like, "Have you been there yet?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're so right."
You know,
So
the fashionista over here.
Well, you are. I mean, you're looking pretty good in that.
Look at this. I got my gift. You got me a gift.
I did.
This Japanese Clash T-shirt. It's a very nice material. The cool graphic as well.
That was awesome. I haven't used it yet. This is the first time.
It's very cool. You look very cool with your Vivian Westwood lighter.
Did I?
Yeah.
Awesome. That was the goal. It's lit, and I've wanted this for a long time, and I'm really glad I got it. London was awesome. I had a great time. Thank you for asking.
How was London?
I probably should have waited till you asked. Fair enough. No, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed being ahead of everybody in the time zones. Usually I'm behind because we're here and I'm communicating with, Chris, who's in London, my husband, or my family on the East Coast. But it was nice being ahead of the game. But I also didn't love. Well, you were busy all week, so we didn't really miss a lot of communication. Like you were working most through the night, but then I feel like I would wake up and I'd miss, everybody would be just going to bed, which is why that was wild to me. Every time I go on a trip, we talk about the time zones because maybe it's my stoner brain, but it just really fucks me up.
Space time zone continuum.
But yeah, so London was really cool. I obviously did not bring any weed. It's illegal. I forget who I was talking about it with, but I was like, yeah, no weed there. And they were like, yeah, it's very illegal. I was like, I know. It is not legal to bring weed when you travel. So you shouldn't do it. What I do know is that I smelled it everywhere. And it was very... I didn't find any weed in the country of London, like the country of the UK, the country of what is it? England. The country of England, the country
the United
of London.
Kingdom.
But I had the whole world searching for me. Like I had people who were here, who knew homies in London, texting the homies, and then Chris was asking his whole production crew because I was like, ask your driver, somebody's got to know.
I mean,
and
yeah,
it is an elusive beast. I did not find it.
I'm surprised. I mean, the first people you go to is you always ask your production crew because if if anybody knows, it's your crew, and I'm really surprised that they didn't know, or
they didn't.
Usually the crew will
because
kick down.
They're risky little rabbits. Some of them brought some edibles in their in their luggage. And I don't know where these people were from. I don't know what company they worked for. I know nothing about them. But what I do know is what I heard on the street. And that's what most of the Americans that I spoke to said. Like, oh, yeah, last time I came, I just brought in my luggage. I was like, that is very brave of you.
That yeah,
Very, that is brazen.
that's a bold, bold move.
Now, to also be fair, it's not, it's not Japan, it's not Russia. So, it is definitely classified as is in the classification. We'll go over it real quick just because I find it interesting what's going on over there with weed. And again, I was walking on one of the main drags in Soho, and that's like a, posh shopping neighborhoody area kind of. And like I was on the corner and two blokes, two gazes. We're on the corner just smoking away like nothing. So I have to assume the bobbies aren't looking for the weed smell as much as one would say like in a place like Japan and Russia. That is what I gathered. Because again, I would go in a car in an Uber, which is called Uber there. And would I would smell it in the car. I'd smell it on Chris's block where he lived, and he lived in a rather nice area. So, I have confusion about it. I feel confused. Help
Well,
me.
you know, at one point in the UK, cannabis was transferred to level C. They
Yes.
have their drug classifications are like A, B, and C. So like A
Mhm,
is
mhm.
crack cocaine, coke, ecstasy, heroin, LSD, mushrooms. B is like amphetamines, barbiturates. I think it's actually cannabis now is moved back to B, but C was like anabolic steroids and GHB, things like that.
Really?
Um,
GHB is C?
yeah, you could get. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to the UK, but you used to be able to go into those shops and get all the GHB and your poppers and all of that stuff that was really popular in the club scene, in the dance
Yeah, they do
holes
like
in the clubs.
in the dance holes. Yeah, for sure. And that, that is really what what they're looking for at this point, I think. And by they I mean the law enforcement's, not to say that like if you are in possession of a class B or C drug that, or a C drug rather, that you're off the hook. But it's kind of like the world of less, it's controlled, but it's, akin to what, codeine here or something?
Um, yeah, yeah. It's
Whatever
well,
our like
uh,
classifications are
they've
here.
moved back and forth so many times, and then it was actually moved back to Class C. So it's basically like law enforcement is not. It's not a priority for law enforcement.
Right, right. But it's still like they've really gone back and like really all over the place with it. Because I remember, thinking about it and talking about it for a while. So it's still obviously is not legal, but medicinal weed is like what's like they are there is medicinal weed there, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. It went through in 2017 under
Yes.
the 10-minute rule. It was rescheduled, and it's you're allowed to have it, but I don't know if they have any sort of um, medicinal cannabis dispensaries in place.
I mean,
But
I saw like I didn't get to take a picture of it because like I was on the move, but I did see a poster that said legal cannabis delivered to you or something. And then like I think I did a quick Google and it was like it was medical. So I don't know how medicinal weed is dispensed in the UK. I had trouble figuring it out because everything was said something different. But they did have, I mean, they do have CBD and those whatever goes along with the CBD stuff.
yeah, you saw a CBD store. What was it called? The Other Side.
Yeah, it was called The Other Side. It was right on the
And
main, it was on, again, another main kind of like shopping market area. And there was a few of these kinds of stores. There was another store called like cannabinoid or something, and that was somewhere else. But because I just looked up what was around. But yeah, this is the same, I think, as like what I got in Italy. It's just hemp CBD, really. Um, I didn't try it.
It looks like they had pre-packed pre-rolls
Hmm.
in packs and pre-ground flour and
Hmm.
vapes
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
like you get like 28 grams of pre-ground hemp flour. It looked like it was actually a blend of it's not only hemp, but there's like sage in there as well.
Yeah,
Like a
there was a lot of
little
like herbal stuff
like
in there.
herbal blends, like
Hmm.
wizard smoke. They used to advertise in the back of High Times.
Totally. Yeah. And that's just I don't I don't need any of that. So I didn't stop in. Maybe next time. But yeah, that's really the extent of it. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. It doesn't seem like making it legal is a priority for them. It's good that they have medicinal, but yeah, it just seems to be at the moment still you shouldn't be doing it, but also like it's not I don't think it's like officially at decriminalization level, but it is like maybe a step above or below, whichever way you want to go. It's like a step
It's
away from decriminalization.
like low priority.
Yes, that's a
You
better.
know, we would have to go either to Brixton, but often the shows were at the Brixton Academy, and we'd get like
Oh,
the Jamaican weed,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
at one point, I actually procured a huge chunk of hash at the BBC,
Right.
like like this big.
And I was
It
hoping
was
for
huge.
something like kind of like that. I was hoping for an opportunity like that. And there were some like people, like there was people who were coming in and out of that CBD store, and I saw some people who I figured were my people, you know.
They're like,
Um,
"Hey, hey,
huh?
yeah, huh? Wink, wink."
What's wrong with my shirt? But I didn't wear a weed shirt there. Um, but you could tell, you know the look, but no such luck. I don't know. Maybe it's just very different. Maybe everybody goes to Amsterdam or something. I don't know. But yeah, it I didn't have any luck with it, and it does seem like the UK and London and England uh are just, they're concerned about other things, and with that comes with making it like fully legal. That's not one of their concerns either, but neither is getting, in big trouble for it. So be careful wherever you are. Don't ever bring it anywhere with you that is not within the same state that it is legal. Be smart about your life. But, I would love for it to be more available the traditional way in in places that I go. I'm sure if I looked a little bit closer, I'd be able to find, but I don't know. I had people everywhere searching far and wide. And you'd think I was asking for something illegal. But that's okay. It didn't make me enjoy being there any less. It was fun and cool. And I felt very cool there. And I will hopefully be back. Yeah, it's a cool scene. It's nice. Nice there. Do you like London?
I love London. I
Yeah.
spent a long time there. Last time I was there for like 2 weeks in London working, and I had like actually had like 5 days off, so got to
Nice.
dig in, and that was very cool. I enjoy
It's
my time
very
in
easy
London.
for me. Like it's like it was very intuitive. It's the first place I've ever been, not that I haven't gotten lost, and the tube totally made sense for me. I had no problem navigating where I was supposed to be. It was all it felt like out of all the places that I've been, it definitely felt the most like a place where I could live or, be from. Just I mean, I told people, I was like, yeah, no, like I grew up like in like North Jersey, New York area. And so like, city is, that's why I feel so at home here. And everybody was like, well, New York's a little bit faster than here. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I guess. But that pace, fast city pace.
I felt like the people that I'd hang out with from London were actually like, we have good New York walks. We've got a good New York
I was
stride,
like, yeah, I was sprinting.
a
Yeah.
sprint. But like the Londoners were really like, it was like another quarter step
Faster?
of faster.
That's what I said. I was like, y'all's are fast. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
you run,
yeah,
run, run. You're track
the same
stars.
thing.
Like,
Like, yeah, everybody's like sprinting even more than
that's
New
what I
York.
said. But everybody who I said that to, they were like, oh, it's way quicker there. I was like, I don't think that that's true. London's very, I don't know, every day living there. Obviously, just spent a week and a half there. I mean, my husband will be there for another, I don't know, few months till June. So he's really getting he's working a lot, but like every day that I was there, I did something. I was like, I want to see this and I want to see that and I want to shop for later. And I was glad that I did because, again, it's just if you're visiting New York City and you have downtime and stuff like that, you want to go to the museums, you want to go to the parks, you want to go get weed, and that really is an upsetting thing. That I couldn't just. I'm so spoiled in these United States of A. We're gonna talk shit on the United States and its weed in a minute, but we're gonna try to spin it in a good way. But yeah, it's difficult, when you find somebody who's procured cannabis and it's like one tiny little joint that you have to make stretch. That is difficult. Let me tell you. And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be, like this is a tolerance break kind of thing. No, I don't need it.
M-
I don't need to be on a tolerance break right now.
Maybe that's why everybody smokes spliffs,
Oh, for sure that's why. And maybe because also the
to make
weed
it
is like not
stretch.
that great. Yeah, for sure. That's what everybody who comes here says. Like they're just used to smoking spliffs because you gotta make it stretch. And listen, man, I get it. I was there. We don't have to be there. We've advanced as a society. So we'll keep an eye on the UK law. Whatever. It doesn't seem like it's high priority, but maybe it will be. And maybe by the next time I go, maybe we can lead the helm. The nerds will go back to England and sit before the king.
And decriminalize, legalize cannabis in the UK. We'll lead the
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah. I don't know why it'll be us. It just will be. We're gonna take a quick break.
International superstars, the Cool Nerd Weed Show, live from the BBC with a fresh start to the week. Give it up for the Cool Nerd Weed Show.
On your morning breakfast. Yeah, we will take over the scene and they'll be like, wow, we didn't know you Yankees can be so fun. We'll be like, yeah, we are a great representation of the United States. We will take a quick break and we'll be right back with the kind of opinions. It's mostly opinions. So if you're going to take a sesh, take an edible, get some water, do that right now. We'll be right back.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
And we're back.
We're back.
It's the Golden Reach Show. That's TS.
And that's Sasha.
And we are back. Hold on, I want to use my cool lighter. Hold on. I got to get used to it, All right. See? So satisfying. Okay, so we are back on the Cool Nerd Weed Show, and we have been kind of like talking about this subject here and there because we've been a little discouraged as of late, slowly but surely. It just kind of hits us. The industry, we talked about this last week. The industry in California, at the very least, feels kind of dismal and dark, and big cannabis really shook the industry to kind of the core. And just us from the employee point of view, like we've been just very kind of discouraged by the whole ordeal. And so have other people that we know who work in the industry. They don't want to go back. They get laid off from a place that's closing or is treating them poorly, and they don't want to go back. And that sucks butts. It's a really great industry to be in.
It's become a revolving door of managers and bud tenders. It's totally discouraging. You see the same ads on Indeed every fucking week. Every week, somebody's looking for bud tenders. Bud tenders are highly in demand, but why? Like,
Yeah.
jobs can't retain people.
No, it's discouraging. It sucks. It's been no fun for us in the industry. And we just came across this Newsweek article that everybody will likely be talking about soon. And we kind of wanted to go through it. Um, the headline reads, America's marijuana legalization experiment is going up in smoke because, we can't go 5 goddamn minutes without somebody making some fuck ass pun about weed. Like,
Some some lazy writing.
if this was a news story on TV, the stock footage would just be a bunch of like pictures from the early 2000s of people grinding weed and smoking like weird ass
Blunts.
joints.
Yeah, always.
Always. So yeah, so that's what the headline reads, and it's interesting because we'll go through some of it. A lot of this article, I don't really agree. I think this must be an op-ed, but a lot of the stuff it says no, and we'll go over why. But really, the gist of it is while the intention of making weed legal and regulation and was the health benefits and how much money the economy would benefit from it, and that we'd be reforming criminal justice, or we would be reforming crime stuff and fighting for criminal justice. Everything that we wanted would have happened is what or could have happened with legalizing weed. But instead, that's not what we are getting. And I feel almost like foolish about it because I know how this stupid country is and works. And I know I have the benefit and the blessing to have known what weed is and was and what it can be. And I feel like did think we would go in a good direction with it. And just one by one, I mean, California kind of like kicking it off with the big weed nonsense, and then everything else that followed. New York really was fumbling with this weed concept for some reason. A lot of states rolling it back, people saying that they voted, getting the votes, but then pulling it back, having the actual policy be written horribly, and then it not being a good thing to actually vote for. So looking at it, it looks like it was almost like rushed, which, it's like everything is that could make money.
Yeah, well, America is a great experiment, and we're still experimenting. And cannabis is one of the experiments within the experiment. So the legalization, we really know what we were getting into initially, like as pioneers of in the cannabis movement in California. Um, we've fully realized the impact of Prop 64 until the ball was rolling. Well, we had some warnings, we had some insight for sure,
For sure. I think
but
but it
the
was
people,
exciting.
yeah, it was very exciting. It's still exciting. There was a lot of unintended things happened, like you said. Big cannabis came in, totally wants to take over, control everything. Um, they don't care about the plant. They don't care about the people. They don't really care
Mm-mm.
about giving you the best product that they possibly can, like we did in the medical days. We felt there was more love, smaller batches, uh,
Right.
better products were going out. But the big cannabis comes in and it's really all about the bottom line
Yeah.
for
And
them.
it's so difficult to actually like go above the board. They make it so hard. It's like, oh, so many government funded or government backed things here where it's hard to do the right thing. It's so expensive for vendors and for growers. And, they make it so that people who have been in it or people who do have care for the plant, people who may have opportunities that they didn't have before, it's so goddamn hard to actually pay for all the licensing, get your grow right, make sure that you have a good crop because by the way, this is farming and weed is a growing plant. Now sometimes it doesn't go right because you get people who don't know how to grow weed. You need people who know how to do weed and who know that a lot of times it's failure and you can't fail when you're on a big scale. It just doesn't make money. So the product, it just gets more saturated and worse. People who do still have integrity try their best to do what they can. I mean, truly, madly, deeply, if you want to know what happened, this Newsweek article could be South Park's entire series on weed in Colorado. And because it really, really is the same story in a lot of places. If you do have integrity, you go broke and you can't pay your bills. And if you do want to find the best product, you're paying so much, you're buying now, paying later, and then you don't have the money to pay because you've already tried to catch up with your licensing fees from start to finish. It's rife for selling weed in a traditional market, right? So all of the states where things have been made legal in the last like 10, 15, 12 years, I would say. This article is skewed clearly. If you read it, just please listen to us as a companion piece because I want you to know that it could and maybe will get better. And that's why we're here. But this article is like the legal market is just all back alleyways and like it's everybody relax quite often and it claims that you can get the same product from the traditional market and that's just not true.
Yeah,
It's just not true.
that point really bothered me
I know, that's why I
because
brought it up.
yeah, it
I wanted you to
really
go
annoyed
off.
me
Cook. I
because
wanted you to cook.
you you can't get the same products. They're different products. Products in the legal market are tested um, for many things. They're tested for potency, pesticides, heavy metals, mold, potence. Products in the traditional market are not tested at all because nobody in the traditional market wants to pay for
Mhm.
testing. So
And
number
if
one,
you,
there's that.
sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, still, I'm so sorry. I cut you off and I really want you to do this. Number one, which
The,
means we're going to get a couple other ones. So you go uninterrupted, unfiltered,
the, pe- the people
uncut. Sorry.
the people in the traditional market don't want to pay for testing, and they're not going to because that cuts into the bottom line. And
Sure.
you know, or if you go into a place that is not licensed, they are just going to make up potencies. Like they don't have anything to back it. Like you go into a shop and it says it's at least 30%, and that's the number that everybody wants to go for. And when they shop in a traditional market, they think everything's 30% plus. Right there, right there. That's wrong. So.
Yeah, you're getting a candy bar that's like,
Oh,
885 milligrams. And you're like, what do you even mean? And
yes, yes. When you see a 500 milligram package of candy, you cannot be assured that there's actually 500 milligrams in there because they're not testing. They just put that on the
Mhm.
label because it's
It's made up.
impressive.
It's
It's
made
totally
up.
made up.
Now, this does quite seamlessly go into the next point that I did want to make. We did want to make because the article does talk about the public health concern with whatever the fuck. Now, this is not baby in the bathtub, which if you're a long time listener, I bring that up when we talk about reefer madness. And I like to go through my traditional sayings before we talk about all this because now now we're talking unregulated market is being just as if not more profitable than the legal market. People are going traditionally. I think in New York, especially a place like New York, especially, we always advocate for going to a legal dispensary. But God damn it, if we're talking taxes are going up here in California, like we are borderline in a recession. So like there's things to consider here. And while we do advocate for you to go to a legal dispensary for safe access, I don't know how many people have that kind of money to be paying, $75 out the door for some fucking mid product or a medicine. So you're getting your product from the traditional market, which is not regulated, which is not tested, which is not dosed. So the reason why regulation works and is good times is you go get your Caminos, those bitches are going to be 5 milligrams. You get a gummy from the homie. I don't know what's in there. You don't know what's in there. These things are tested. I was on Mood Killers a couple weeks ago, which you should listen to every single Friday with Marconi and Eddie. And Marconi asked me, I hear there's these gummies that have bad stuff in it, like that have bad ingredients in it. What do I do? How do I know? I'm like, because you're going to go to a dispensary that has regulation. Now, whatever you want to say about a government agency, there is a standard. You have to hit a food standard. You have to hit a dosage standard. Now, whether or not that's a health, you're eating gelatin or whether that's healthy for you or not, it is not going to be whatever the fuck you're going to get that is not tested or regulated. That is a public health safety concern. If you have kids taking shit that they don't know what's in it, that's a problem.
Yeah, you want to know that the kitchen that your edible was made in was clean and that it's a consistent dose. You don't want your 5 milligram to like one of them to be 25 milligram and the next one to be 3 milligrams.
Exactly. Exactly. And the ways to do that is regulation and safe access. And those things, yes, they cost money for sure, but they cost even more money now with how each state has been handling owning a weed business. So with that said as well, weed certainly has legal and traditionally taken a very big leap in potency. Some of it has. And dabs are, especially traditionally on the traditional market, less so in the regular market now because they're so fucking expensive. And then when they're not expensive, they're shitty.
Yeah, they're like color
But there was a
remediated.
time, yeah, where everybody's in the dab business. So people are ripping dabs, smoking infused joints, and I've said this many times, and my tolerance is very, very high. But you kind of don't know how much you're smoking until you realize it's too much, and then your tolerance is super, super high. Nothing's affecting you anymore, and then we highly encourage tolerance breaks. But that is because we're like seasoned veteran smokers. If you run before you walk, or you run too much, or you are dabbing 24/7, or you're smoking these super infused joints or high potency, this article is like, you will go mad. You will descend into the darkness of the depths of insanity. Like they're, very dramatic.
Oh
While
yeah,
yes,
they're
I do have to acknowledge, and I do, that like cannabis use disorder has been a thing that's been developed. Real things exist like cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. Real things exist like a psychosis being exacerbated by doing an edible that has more than likely been misdosed or misrecommended. If you come into a dispensary with a knowledgeable bud tender and you say, I suffer from psychosis, I am not recommending RSO for you. I'm not recommending the 1,000 milligram brownie. I'm recommending something else and saying, talk to your doctor about this as well, and find a doctor but if you're going to the homie and the homie's giving you unregulated, untested weed, yes, that I'm sure is going to trigger way, way more breaks and setbacks in the mental health section of cannabis development. And Yeah, that is a problem. But I don't want to hear that like weed in general is going to be the downfall of fucking mental health in this fucking country. Please. And thank you.
Your boy, Kevin Sabat from the
My
Smart
boy.
Approaches to Marijuana, uh, is really hypercritical of the current cannabis commercialization model, and is he goes out and says that today's marijuana strength is very high potency with its growing methods, that the results are record levels of we have record levels of psychosis, schizophrenia, suicide, IQ loss, and other issues. So that's very alarmist from the Smart Approaches to
So,
Marijuana.
I mean, again, baby in the bathtub. It's like, okay, all right, okay. Okay, let's everybody take a breath and a step. While I do agree that high potency THC products aren't, I don't think they should be the first go to. I really don't, even for people like us. I think, like, I don't think that it's wonderful to oversaturate and to overtake weed. You know, people so much quicker are like, oh my god, I gotta quit, or you know, I have to really lay off. And listen, if that's your journey, I am I don't care. I mean, I'm not judging you even a little bit if that is how you have to live your life. Truly, madly, deeply. I know plenty of people who just it is no more or it is not at all. You know, so that's not my thing. Is the action of doing it. My thing is that it's happening much quicker. I feel like with folks. I feel like it's, you know, I'm in haze all the time. I'm like couch locked. I'm, you know, and I'm like, are you dabbing from the second you get up? Or, you know, even like my lungs or blah blah blah. Like, you know, are you bodying joints all
Yeah,
day?
are
You
you
know, like
are you smoking those distillate filled
yeah,
fake terp um, triple infused pre rolls that are out there?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yes. Do I agree that this is not good for the public health to have it in this state? For sure. And we don't know the actual effects because we can't know because we don't have any regulation for testing. We haven't reclassified. We haven't done anything to make it easier to do actual peer reviewed studies. It's always like, well, that person used weed and they must have, you know, that must be the same, that must mean something, you know, that cardiovascular disease is linked to smoking weed when for so many years we understood the opposite, and it may be both. You know what I mean? Because everybody is different, and we can't know. Some people shouldn't smoke weed. Some
True,
people
true.
should smoke a moderate amount of weed. Some people should use it as medicine all the fucking time, you know, and we wouldn't be able to know these things if we didn't have the anecdotal knowledge we have. But in order to get studies that will be taken seriously by anybody, you need to have those scientific studies. Now we're talking like this government of ours is going to include cannabis research at some point in medicine. It's not looking great for for
No,
us.
no, it is not.
So this is all, I guess, like hypothetical. If we are to continue the trajectory of where we thought weed was going to go, just this article makes it sound dismal, but the reality of the government also gives it a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a dark moment. They go on to he goes on to talk about New York and how that really was quite the blunder. Um, and it was. This is it's true. But
Yeah,
again, grain of salt because it starts to talk about like Colorado has like more traffic fatalities and it please. Weed is not any more dangerous than it was when you thought it was dangerous in the first place. It's not. I'm telling you right now, it's not. I'm not saying that crime doesn't happen and weed just happens to be there, but I promise you, the reason why these things are happening are not because of the regulation of weed. I have to stand by that, and I really do believe that. Not, maybe they will look back in billions of years and the aliens will say, well, they shouldn't have legalized that weed. That really was the downfall of fucking society. I don't think so. Maybe I'm in my bubble, but I see so much potential and so much clarity with regulation and rescheduling. I see maybe it's not the best for this thing, but it is still really good for this thing. There's so much to learn. But not if believe this article, which does end on like a really shitty note. It's like, is there a shift in public opinion? Do people really not like weed? Like, no. Nobody likes the shitty weed that you get from big cannabis companies. Yeah, no, that's a general. People in weed are annoyed. We are annoyed. That is true. That's why this article is like, it kind of almost gets it, and then it's like, down
And
with weed anyway.
yeah, and then it descends into more reefer madness.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just all we wanted to comment on. Is I think weed is still the same. Yes, we're making it different. Things sell different because of commercialization, and sure, that is a problem. And yes, I do believe America's struggling with everything, let alone the cannabis legalization movement. I think it got taken out of our hands in a lot of ways, and I think the people who really believe in cannabis advocacy and safe access and are really here for the movement, like, we're trying to like grab it back. We're trying to be like, no, 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 do not touch our weed. Like, it is one thing that like everybody could cross the aisle on. It is one thing that you can do, is share a joint with your fucking opposite, with your op. You can always share a joint with your op, and that is one thing that I feel like that is why we do the show. So we don't want to end this segment in a really negative tone, but we have for some reason even more work to do than I feel like we did before.
The struggle continues.
Yeah, the struggle continues,
The
but
saga continues.
the saga and the struggle will continue. But we will take a quick break, and then we'll come back with a positive, cute story.
The final Huff and Puff with TS and Sasha.
I think we timed it out finally perfectly. We are back. It's Cool Nerd Weed Show. That's yes.
And that's Sasha.
And we are always on idobi Radio every Monday at this time. We will never, ever not be. We love it so much. We love everything about idobi. We are doing a special show, I believe, next Monday. We don't. That's all we know. But it will be one of our fun group shows that we've been doing with It's News to Us and Mood Killers. It's just, everybody needs all the support we can get this year so far, living in this country doing these things. So idobi Radio is a great place to be. It's a great place to be. And if you haven't, download the free idobi app to your phone. If you are listening on your Alexa, that's totally cool. But what if you want to go to another room? Listen to us on your phone. Take us with you. idobi is where you find it in the App Store, and it will be your companion for the rest of your days. So we wanted to end on a fun note. Every single show, because it's so depressing in the world, we're really trying to end on a positive note. And TS sent me this post on Instagram, and it's definitely really positive.
Okay, so this artist, Ron English, has been collecting and photographing all of the fun bags that he finds on the streets from the bodegas, the cannabis bags. If you've seen them, they're all the Mylar bags. They're getting crazier and crazier. They have like really fun artwork on them.
Yeah, they've always been like kind of crazy. Once you could start prepackaging your weed, some brands just went all out. Like Ted's Buds here was doing these like booby anime things that like I was like, some people didn't like them, but I was like, I like this. They're also just in terms of like brand names. I mean, Skittles got sued, or somebody got sued for using. Sometimes like people will get sued for using these like logos and bags and stuff, but the prepackaged weed era brought about some hyphy, off market, really fun packaging. Like some really crazy shit has come from this, and I've always loved it. I'm a sucker for packaging. It doesn't matter even what's in it. If it's like a cool package, I'm just like, I'm sold. So it's great marketing. But I guess he was finding all of these and he was like, I should do something with this.
I was talking to my homie Alex from Big Pharma, and he actually put me on to one of the Instagram accounts from Brooklyn, and then this came up. It's actually photographer Vincent Flieger. It's at Streetadelic on Instagram if you want to check it out. I've been finding cannabis trash for a long time, but now I'm like, should I start picking this stuff? I should pick it up and put it in the trash. But it's most of the time, but
Yeah.
it is artwork. There's a lot of amazing, like just this one is the Obama run, so it's got a picture of Obama like smoking a blunt and $100 bills and stuff all over.
Fantastic.
But
Yeah.
those the super dope ones with the anime
Oh
were
my God. Yeah. It was like art.
amazing, and people are collecting them. And
Yeah, they were releasing them as like limited editions and stuff, and I'm sure you can like find them as NFTs or whatever. But they were like releasing some of the art, some of the, I would see like numbers, like
oh yeah, there was one that had a QR code, and then when you would put your phone on it, it would do the 3D art.
oh yeah, I remember that.
That
That was crazy. Yeah,
that
that
was
one was
very
cool.
cool.
I think it's great. Yeah, check. So who are the artists out? I think there's a Vice post about it too on Vice's socials. But who are the artists again?
You can find the actual artwork from the bodega bags at 0.125 ounce
Cool.
Instagram, and then the artist Vincent Flieger, and then the other artist was Ron English, photographer, that's documenting all of these bodega bags, which is it's very interesting. It's
Oh
cool.
yeah,
I like it. It's
I
like
love it.
you're a cannabis bag historian, archiving all
Yeah.
of these fun bags.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, it's a fun thing to document, you know. It's really certainly like this a point in history, that's for sure.
There's a lot of fun ones. Like, okay, so it's kind of questionable of whether these would actually pass in a legal market. Definitely like the one with Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, and,
Yeah, you couldn't do
the
those.
Tasmanian
Yeah.
Devil would not fly.
No way,
But
Jose.
some of these fun that have like graffiti artwork on them, and I've seen this one has like a scary teddy bear. Like I've seen those in
I love
shops, and they'll be there until they get pulled by the Department of Cannabis. But it's fun while it
it.
lasts.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I'm so on board. I love it. Good news. That is good news from the weed industry.
From the culture.
Can be created from the culture. That's what weed is, you see. That is why people, I don't think, understand. Yes, it is a business, obviously. People want to make some monies off of something that is profitable. But
This is the culture. This is
it's
cannabis culture
culture.
right here.
It is. That's cannabis culture. So you got to know that. You got to understand that in order to be successful at weed. And I don't think people have quite gotten that yet. And if you immerse yourself and really keep your mind open and you're willing to understand cannabis and really treat it with any sort of respect that you treat something, I feel like people liken it to alcohol. It's not, but it's just different. Alcohol is a different thing. And cannabis is this, and that's why we love it. Hopefully we'll still have it for as long as we can. I'm like, yeah, thank God for the US and like, legal weed. Now I'm like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. But right now we have weed and we love it, and we hope that the world gets on board, and it's okay because it's here in our lives, and you have us and we have you. And
Don't panic.
It's organic.